Contrast Uncut, yeah, you know that's us. Where we only speak the real and the real rock with us. Where we motivate the people and politic on success. Oh no, we ain't DJ Khaled, but they swearing we the best. Contrast Uncut, contrast Uncut, contrast Uncut, contrast Uncut.
What's happening? It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 4, episode 12. Man, big shout outs to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. It's your host, DJ $1 like I won some money. Ladies and gentlemen, today we got a really dope special guest. He's out the NorCal. He's from Petaluma, California. He's a world-renowned celebrity tattoo artist, entrepreneur, fashion designer. You know, he's a food guru as well as a super producer. He's the owner of High Seas Tattoo Parlor in the heart of Melrose and, you know, right in Hollywood. And he's produced for some really dope artists, some really dope ones that are making the scene look a little bit more organic when it comes to these new rappers. And, you know, everyone has an opinion on it versus really listening to him. And he's one of the guys that's behind the scenes making the sounds work. And, you know, he's worked with Lil Xans, Currency, Il Chris, 10 Cell Phones, just to name a few. And if you don't know who I'm talking about by now, it's all good. We got all episode to chop it up with Ayo Shon Lindauer. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. Nice to meet you.
Man, shit, bro, it's an honor, bro. I'm happy to be here. We in the heart of Melrose. Some of the greatest things done happen on this street if you don't know your history. And this brother's literally right here in the smack dab in the heart. So I gotta let you know, time's the most finite thing we have on this earth. So I appreciate your time, you coming on the show, rocking with the viewers, rocking with the listeners, and, you know, making a difference to everybody and helping people understand, you know, what it's like for everyone in obtaining that goal of success. Speaking of time, what's a normal 24 hours for you, Shon?
I wake up mad early, like 7 or 8 every day. Chill for a little while at my house, listen to some records. I like to listen to a lot of music. Bump some like Earth, Wind and Fire's, Tower Power, some funky shit. And then get up, I get some vegan breakfast somewhere. I usually go on Instagram and look for a cool little vegan restaurant that I haven't tried and go find some weird shit. I drive my car over there with my dog Fajita, get little burritos or whatever, and then we hit Melrose usually every day about noon. Get going with the boys. I have a couple different crews of cats I work with. I have a studio in the back of my tattoo shop, so I have those guys that work there, the intern and the A&R and the manager for that. And I have a tattoo shop in the front, so I have the manager for that and the employees and the people that work there. So I get everybody going, smoke a joint or two, and then usually start cooking up. Link up with some homies, politic, do some networking, tattoo some folks, record a song, make some more beats, and then just go home and do it all over again every day. Whew. 365.
Ooh. That gives me chills, bro, because, you know, so many people think it's so easy to get into this world and make this world work versus understanding what has to go into it. There's communication there. There's delegation there. There's understanding roles and making sure people are comfortable with their roles and making them be great at their roles.
Yeah, big time. Networking is a big part of what I do, and keeping my connections solid with people and putting the pieces together is half the battle, you know, because we all know cool people. We all know or have access to, you know, the same shit. So to make bigger plays, you got to be able to, like, keep your relationship strong with everybody so that you can network them together.
Come on, he said it right there, relationships. We're going to talk a little bit more later about that later on. But I've noticed a lot of changes about you, brother, for the better. I've noticed you kick the backwoods. I'm still having a problem kicking the woods myself. And I mean, you know, you've also gone vegan.
Yep.
And then, I mean, you made this area into a studio. Like, you know, you're doing all these big components and changing things up for the better of everything you're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep my body healthy and trying to keep my mind healthy, and then also trying to uplift my fellow brothers and shit and give people opportunities to make a song or work on their art or just become better at what they do so that we can all be a bigger team and do bigger shit.
That's right. No, it's a true leader. A true leader understands what they also have to possess and do, and they got to go through the motions themselves and go from top to bottom and bottom to top no matter the situation. I got a quote for you, Shon.
What's good?
Let me know how this quote relates to you, or if it doesn't, it's all good. I just want you to talk about it.
Yeah.
You've got to always go back in time if you want to move forward. Uncle Snoop.
Yeah, I mean, self-reflection is a big part of this game, you know, when it comes to making beats or making art or longevity in general. And if you can't look at yourself and how you've either done well or done bad and reflect on that shit, you're not going to be able to continue to grow. You're just going to play a plateau game and just be the same kind of dude. So self-reflection and looking at yourself in the past is 100% how you get to the future, you know, and opening, you know, recognizing, let's say, backwoods or whatever it is, recognizing our simple faults and trying to eliminate those so that we can be better as a group. You know what I'm saying? And if I can inspire you to kick tobacco, then it worked. So it was worth it for me to get off it and for you now to get off it. Or so anything that you can do to inspire and reflect and figure out why am I doing this? What's the reasoning? Is this helping my future or is this just getting in my way? It's always a big point.
Whew. Man, you said so much power right there. You let some diamonds drop right now and you just let them hit the ground and shine before they hit. Whew. Man, I had to take a second and reflect on that. It's so important to be okay with yourself, be okay with your growth, and be okay with your failures. Because when you can make that circle of failure smaller and smaller and smaller, that's what you can perfect. You can't be perfect people, but you can have perfect actions. And you keep on developing until you have those perfect actions for the right time for whatever you're trying to do. And, you know, I want to ask you, talking about, you know, the art world, because I feel like you're a true artist.
Mm-hmm.
You take a canvas that's blank and you throw paint on there, whether it's, you know, a paint of melodies and crazy drum patterns and making beats, or if it's, you know, reflection on someone's body and putting some dope art on their body that's going to last forever. You know, you have that whole ability of just recognizing to fashion, to just, you know, you have that concept. So I want to know, did the game choose you or did you choose the game?
I mean, I just do art and like it's different, but I think there's a bigger important part for the guy that can see a blank canvas, like a blank body or empty FL session or whatever, and be able to create a vibe and making people feel cooler with tattoos, or making a trap rapper feel like he's tough because he hears a tough beat, or a melodic dude because he's like on some house vibes or whatever. Like bringing those things out of people is dope. And like it's not always like you don't gotta be the dude singing and dancing. It's sometimes it's cool to establish the vibe knowing that other people can kind of follow suit, you know?
Right.
So like with the tattoos or fashion or making beats, like it's cool to be able to start from nothing and be like, yo, this is what I think would be dope. You know what I mean? Like if we put an eagle on your arm or some shit, or what, or eagle on your chest, or a skull on your neck or some shit, you're like, well, I didn't think of that. That's crazy. Like you see the vision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So putting people onto the vision so that they can do what they got to do and make ill shit, like that's ill. Like
bro, you have a giving passion in your body, and it's not for a kindness to be taken for weakness, but to build.
Yeah, man, you know.
Consider your first confirmation that, you know, art, tattoo, producing music, just all those different hats in this culture that you represent was what you're supposed to do with your life. Like, what was that, what you consider your first confirmation?
About 10 years ago, I was tattooing in New York. I had a tattoo shop, and my friend from high school was living out in Taiwan, so I went to visit him in Taipei, and I spent a month out there and did really well. And I came back to New York and realized, wait, like I can travel the world and make good money and do things I like, more than any other job I ever made, you know, doing shit like that. So once that happened, it really opened my eyes, like, okay, I gotta go full steam with this shit. Like
It's crazy how you embrace what's easy on you. I got told this when I was like 25 that what's easy for you is what you're supposed to do for you. And when you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like you are living the dream.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, man. I do art every day and I work with my friends. It's painless, man. It's super painless.
I always feel like there's somebody that invests the idea into somebody so that their vision will be a little bit more clear on what they're great at. So my question is who invested that vision for you for this to be your dream? Like, who put it out there?
I had a big homie, and during the mid-2000s, he was on the A&E shows, like during the Miami Ink era, and when that shit was popping, he had his own show on Bravo, or on A&E, one of those two. And he really put me on game as far as like bigger perspectives on like the world and working with companies and celebrities and stuff like that, and not just like you sitting in your house doing your art by yourself on some passion project shit, but like really monetizing your ideas. So about 10 years ago or more, I guess 15 years ago, mid-2000s, he really put me on game as far as like, yo, we could really monetize this shit and make money from this and make a show or record or make videos and document what we do and make blogs and stuff like that and make money from it, and so once I realized those ideas, I started doing the vlogging shit. Or I had a food blog 10 years ago called Brunch Man. Like, I've been on the blog shit for a long ass time. Just people have been exposed to me in different eras of my life, Right. So like, that being said, like, it's just making the content, making stuff, either music or art or clothing or whatever, a physical thing, like a tangible thing, putting it out, continuing to do that.
That's the greatest thing about the internet. It's available 24 hours a day, and once you discover something that you like and you have enough content, people will watch the shit out of whatever you're providing.
Sure, if you're authentic and you're really into it. So if you're really into whatever, music or art or whatever, as long as it's real, people are going to also be like, oh yeah, I fuck with that too,
Transparency.
Yeah.
And authenticity. As a creator, like, I understand it's a battle as a growth as a creator. And from the opening quote, I brought up reflection because what you did yesterday really matters to what you do tomorrow, because it builds on your reflection of what you could do differently and what you could do moving forward. And so I like to ask people, what do you do to reflect on your growth? Like, how do you go through your process? Do you meditate? Like,
I drive a car, a little fast Porsche, joint, and so I go up to the mountains and spend time by myself every week and just get in my own head and listen to music and dissect music, or listen to my own shit, or listen to nothing and just think about whatever's going on. So I think spending time by yourself is also really important to this game, because if you're not happy in your own head, it's going to be hard to be happy around other cats or like emanate happiness or anything other than just trying to keep up. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And it's
that old school saying, you can't help nobody unless you help yourself.
Of course. So I think, having that balance of, alone time and being a producer helps with that shit, because you don't make beats with other people, you make beats by yourself, or, so having passions or hobbies or shit that doesn't necessarily having to be like a baseball team every time. I come from a sports background, so I like being on teams, but you have to do both. Otherwise you're not a good asset to your team.
Come on. Shoot, in high school, I lived in LA and then I moved to Bakersfield, and I went to high school in Bakersfield, and I played football. First, playing football, and then the next thing, the football coach was a wrestling coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you wouldn't last a week in practice. And I was like, you full of shit. And I ended up wrestling for 4 years and like really getting some accolades. But that taught me something that, you have to be a team player because it's team points, but when it's time for you to be on there, it's warrior time.
Yeah.
You got to be able to battle and on your own. And so the growth in there, and you have to just really appreciate. But the other thing that comes into what we do is relationships.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you put on for yourself, you also have to be important to contribute to your relationships. And relationships will get you places money cannot.
Of course.
So what can you tell everyone what relationships mean to you throughout your career?
I mean, even like I was chatting with you, as far as even getting like a currency placement, that happened because we're friends with the same people, and if I didn't have a good relationship with his manager and the people that or around him just doesn't work out, you know. So our relationships that we emanate and like continue to grow can possibly benefit you, you know, in the future, and things that don't, you just walk away from. It's easy enough, you know.
Right.
So it's good to just build your relationships with everybody and make sure that everybody fucks with you, so that when the time comes, they look to you to film their video or make their beat or do their tattoo or whatever, because they know you're the man.
Yes, yes. No, that's important, because if you can have 10 people say something bad about you, you know you can have the same 10 people say something great about you. Why don't you focus on having people say something great about you when we already have so much shit going on in our lives daily?
Oh, I mean, my satisfaction and my self-satisfaction comes from, like I said, helping other cats or doing shit that I know makes other people grow, because it's hard, like, not to sound selfish or lame or nothing, but it's hard for me to like release a song and feel that same high that I would get from watching a young man that's never made a track, or maybe get 10,000 plays on his track for the first time. That makes me way more excited, and I produced the song for him. That makes me way more excited than me doing that for myself or whatever. So I get satisfaction different, you know. I get it from other people getting to experience cool experiences as well that I already know is dope. It's like going out to a good restaurant by yourself. You know, like it's not gonna be that cool. So it's like if you can sit there across from somebody and be like, isn't this the greatest ever? Is this the coolest shit ever? It just makes it that much cooler, you know? Dialogue is always important. Yeah. And being happy for other people's accolades. So I don't need to have nobody tell me, you know, oh, I fuck with you. I really like it. I like hearing everybody, you know, show love. But it doesn't hurt me when people don't fuck with my music or don't fuck with my art or whatever. Because the dudes, it would bum me out if I worked with the artist and then they were like, yo, I don't fuck with this. That would bum me out more than anything. Or
yeah, it's the creative standpoint.
Yeah. So my folks mean a lot to me, and like all my people, and so I just want them to grow and shit. So pats on the back are dope, but it's not what keeps me going. What keeps me going is us growing as a team.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. What would you say some of the highs and lows that you faced in your career so far?
I mean, highs are obvious. You know, making new money always feels good, and and being in a different range and being treated differently to people that you like, let's say, look up to or whatever. But lows are minimal. You know, it's like I don't have too many bad days. You know, I wake up maybe in a upset mood and then I just like look around type shit. You know, it's like pretty quick to snap out of it. You know what I mean? I try not to have too many bad days or too many lows, you know. So reality is, you know, like let's say the first year or 2 years of anything that you start, your clothing company, your beats, your rapping career, your videos, you're not going to get crazy reception like you would want. So that's like a low, I guess. But if you can get over that shit and understand that like
it's a process.
It's a process, and not everybody's gonna feel your vision instantly.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta sell them on the shit.
It's crazy because with 20 years plus in the game of your experience, you evolved with the sound of technology and you kept with it. Because I mean, I've seen an interview of you where you talked about you were doing stuff without a computer and just fucking around.
Oh yeah.
To you know, Fruity Loops to Pro Tools. A lot of people that do Fruity Loops don't know how to make beats on Pro Tools.
No, yeah. I've been making beats since '99. So when I started, it was an all analog situation, and my uncle was the first person I knew with a digital recorder, and it wasn't a computer. It was like a physical recorder that recorded digitally. Up until that point, you're pretty much just recording on a 4-track. Everything wasn't that great, but yeah, evolving with technology and making your sound or your art be current, but also have reminiscence of like things that are nostalgic.
Right.
It's important. You know what I mean? We don't want to completely give up our history and our knowledge, but we also don't want to stay in one lane and pretend like that's it forever. So there's a happy medium of mixing the two, and having your ear to the street and listening to the young people and what they like or what they have to say.
What's important. Set to.
Yeah, it's all real important, and then adding your own flavor to it.
Absolutely. you know, with your 20 years experience, you know, I feel like when I ask you this question, I already know your answer. Would you rather break your own artists or work with the biggest artists when it comes to producing?
No, yeah, I would rather work with the new Jack that I like really have faith in. Stuff like I said to you in confidence, you know, it's cool to work with bigger artists, but where do you go from there? It doesn't really, you kind of hit a ceiling, you know, and to me, I think there's something cooler about growing a new Jack and like watching their whole process. And I've gotten to see dudes like Lil Xan go from an entry-level rapper to now being the celebrity that he is, and Smoke Perp and a bunch of these cats. And so it really is fun for me to watch the whole process and see how they attack it and they deal with everything, and being a part of it and getting to be there with them.
Right.
And make shit.
Absolutely, bro. I mean, when you get to see things grow, like personally, I've seen a lot of my friends or people I've worked with grow and become into something nice. You know, I got to see Swizz and his brother Dame in the beginning days of Funk Volume just hit the roads with Hobson, and they had 10, 12 people in the crowd.
Crazy.
And then, you know, a year later they got 30 people, and then, you know, after that it's history.
No, I get it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you can swallow that pill, then that's the low. You know, other than that, it's all high.
Absolutely. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Shit, bro, I gotta, you know, from your perspective, what's some of the things that people have fucked up about the industry?
I mean, I think right now we're at an all-time high as far as how things are going, because if you want to be independent, you can stay independent for the longest amount of time possible. Deals are getting signed higher and higher. People are maintaining owners of their masters. Things are just different. I think awareness is high as it's ever been. Artists are doing a lot of stuff in-house and creating stuff for themselves so they can do things like joint ventures rather than sign an artist deal. So in my opinion, I think we're the best it's ever been as far as if you're a new artist or even pre-existing artist, you have more options. It's not just 360 or get the fuck on.
You know, and that's positive. That's a real positive insight on how, you know, look forward and when you're doing music. There was a point in time people thought if you do a record and they like it, you're on, and, you know, your world's changed. And to now, people are actually more comfortable being independent and doing all the work and showing their value. Show proof.
Of course.
Showing proof. I gotta ask you a tattoo question. What's the most painful spot for a tattoo for people?
On your body hurts really bad. So if you gotta take your t-shirt off to get the tattoo, it's probably gonna hurt really bad. Arms and legs or whatever, but on your chest and on your side and on your stomach, that's some real G shit.
Okay.
So when you see cats with that shit tatted, you know, yeah, you know that
they went through some shit.
It wasn't that fun.
What are your top 3 favorite tattoos of all time that you've done?
I mean, I tattooed the drip coming out of Lil Xan's eye.
Yes.
That was pretty legendary. Tattooed my boy Arnold with the Zan Frank tattoo. I tattooed his dick. I tattooed a cactus on his dick. I never tattooed a dick before, so that was weird. That was
my football coach.
Was my favorite, but it was legendary.
My football coach said he was locked up, and he was like, the only way to get paid more and get more free time was if you're a tattoo artist back in the 80s. And so he said his worst experience was he had to tattoo someone's dick.
Oh man.
And yeah, he said it was a bad experience.
Yeah, tattoo man is always the cool guy in the neighborhood. You know that the barber and the tattoo man, they know what time it is. They know everybody. They're friends with everybody.
Facts.
And then the third one, I don't know, I did a little, like a sight or whatever, gun sight on Smoke Perp's side of his head, or in some bat wings that were pretty cool. On his throat.
When it comes to your art, I feel like you do simplicity, but you also do no complexity. I mean, you don't hit a ceiling of complexity. Like, the simplicity is so much there, but it's so much room to grow with everything you do.
Yeah, I just like to keep my art real straightforward, my beats real straightforward, real cut and dry. Like, I'm used to classic shit, you know, I'm an older cat, so I like classic vibes. And so I just try to put the young people on to the same classic vibes that I like, but in a cool new way.
And that's so important. That's so important. Like, right now you got 80s synthesizers at an all-time high being used right now. And it's like, you know, if people didn't give that love to that sound, then, you know, we wouldn't have what we're being
you know, and
today.
guitar beats, and people are doing a lot of house shit, and there's a lot of experimenting right now. It's dope, and so it's not just like, oh, trap only or hip hop only. You know,
right. People forget that, you know, it was the Beatles that kicked the damn guitar speaker, and, you know, that's how the bass sound came about. People had to experiment to break the rules to have real progress.
I feel it, yeah.
So what are some of the things you've had to do that you've had to overcome when it comes to breaking the rules to have some progress?
It's just exposing myself to the people that I thought were making sounds that I wanted to make. So Ronnie J, and getting to spend time with him, and Jimmy Duvall, and meet my bros that I felt like, not meeting, but like spending time with my bros that I felt like had the correct sound and the correct ideas and shit. That really helped a lot.
You know, it's hard for people to have a relationship as friends and then also have a business relationship. And, you know, sometimes it's a real thin line with some areas. And, you know, I got to take my hats off to you because you respect people's relationship for, you know, your friendship more than, you know, you do anything else. And
that's
the standard to uphold. And, you know, a lot of people get that stuff misconstrued. They like to just throw it in the grinder and think it's going to be okay if it's smoked.
Well, like I said, we all have options to work with a lot of people and be around a lot of people. So, like, that being said, you gotta be on your shit and keep it cool with everybody so that they remember you, you know, instead of another dude or whatever. Because somebody else can make them more money or make a better play with them. But if you got a good relationship with cats, they're always gonna fuck with you.
Period.
Yeah.
That's so important. So important. What would you be doing if you weren't making art?
I have no idea. I've only ever done it, so I haven't gotten too far into thinking through. I'm not good at too much else, so this is it.
No, fair enough.
I would anything that's creative. So if I could continue to do shit with my head, you know, maybe, I don't know, this is crazy to even think, but just spitballing with you, make a video game or some shit, or like.
Personally, I can see you as an architecture.
Anything
like
I could
real
make.
Architect,
yeah, I could
like,
do
I can
fashion
see
or interior design or some shit like that.
Bro, I can see you building some insane buildings. Just, you know, perspectively of how you see things. Because some of the most dopest architect and buildings are simple but so complex in design.
For sure. I'm super into that kind of shit, so.
From all the hats you wear in this game, from, you know, tattooing to making songs, making music, producing, to, you know, to fashion, to being a vegan and you know, promoting lifestyle eating, you know, which one of those hats is your favorite to wear?
Tattooing is just always going to be the number one for me. You know, I'm a tattoo guy, you know. Music is like got me too, you know, it's neck and neck, you know. So those are the two things I'll always do my entire life. I'll never be able to shake either of those things, you know.
Hell yeah, no, I respect it, bro.
Yeah.
I always like to see, because, you know, personally, I wear a lot of hats, so I'm like, man, what would I be doing, or what would I prefer? And I was like, man, what would they prefer? Because a lot of my questions come from, like, you know, my perspective, but it's also, there's a void. There's a void in a lot of these questions that goes on in interviews. And so I try to make sure I fill the void with my perspective and, you know, my notes of what I've taken that's missing. And then, you know, the other part of my show is the common denominator, success. You know, there's a lot of people afraid of success. That, you know, if there's 4 people in the group and you're the 5th person, they're all broke, you know, it's always construed you're going to be the 5th person broke. And so how do you break that cycle? And a lot of people from the neighborhoods that are, you know, poor, they don't get a chance to break that cycle. They just settle. Mm-hmm. And so it's important that I interview so many people that come from so many different demographics and they reach success, not only in this field, that field. You know, they reach success in every field because they have that mentality.
I fuck with it.
And you have that mentality, brother. Like, you understand, it doesn't matter what you do, bro, you gonna put your mind to it. Like, that's why I went big with architecture, because I feel like you would do some of the dopest shit, whatever you put your mind to, because you have that inside energy. And, you know, that's the common denominator of the show, is that they get to hear real testimonies from people that obtain success, but they just weren't flawless with it, or they just didn't drop it. And you know, think it's okay. You know, they earn their success and can keep it going. And, you know, I'm gonna put a pause on entertainment. I got my next 3 segments, and, you know, the viewers knows I ask every guest this question. It's my awareness segment. Mm-hmm. When was the last time you were pulled over? And what's some advice you can give in the situation of being pulled over?
I got pulled over in March. I was in a rental car, and I keep my hands on the wheel. I turn off the radio. I turn off the car. I let them come up. I always say, yes ma'am, yes sir. And just keep it cool, man. I don't smoke in my car or nothing like that, so I don't got nothing to worry about. They don't mind in California if you have a little bit of weed, as long as you're not smoking on it or whatever. So, you know, I only ever get pulled over for speeding, which is always a problem, but yeah, and then you just sit there and you deal with it. They usually just give you the ticket and keep it cool, you know. It's I've had a lot of interactions with cops that are positive and negative, and I just always try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt every time. Say yes ma'am, yes sir. Try to get away from the whole situation as quick as I absolutely can.
That's the key.
Yeah.
You know, be respectful and get through the process as quickly as you can.
You know,
I feel knowledge is power, but when you use that knowledge, it's a superpower. And so if you could hear people and go through their process of what they've been through, and then you can apply pressure the same way, you can get out that situation.
of course, of course.
You know, not every situation is the same because there's other factors that kick in and
Of course,
variables.
yeah, big time.
But the main thing that you have to do is, you know, stay calm, stay respectful, as challenging as it may be, and, you know, get through it as quickly as you can.
Of course.
And I appreciate your testimony, Shon. All right, my next segment is called Trading Places. You know, you seen that movie, Dan Aykroyd,
course,
Murphy,
yeah.
Wake Up, and
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
fucking
It's
changed.
a classic.
So I take that same concept, take two people and swap their lives.
Cool.
And the two people I got for you is Nas is gonna trade place with Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Question number one, can it work?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Bruce is a friend of mine. I tattoo him.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, he's a cool ass dude. He's the coolest. And the last time I tattooed him, I was like, "Yo, Bruce, what have you been into lately? What's going on?" He's like, "You know, I've been taking up harp." So the dude's mad musical. He's mad conscious. He's down to earth. Super nice dude to be around. I've never heard bad things about Nas either. So it would seem to me that it would be a
move.
It's just they're probably very similar dudes, conscious what they consume and how they act. You know, they're both dudes that have been in the game since the beginning of time. Once I started tripping out on Bruce Willis, I started to remember, you know, Fifth Element and Die Hard and all this shit. I'm like, bro, this man's been in literally every good movie ever.
Right.
You know, like.
Bro, I was talking about it just yesterday. Fifth Element was the first wave of YouTube. When they had the girl download all the fucking shit from watching the TV, I feel like that was YouTube being shown to us before YouTube really kicked in, because everybody learns from YouTube.
Of course. I remember when YouTube dropped.
No, that's sick though. Bruce Willis. That's sick.
I think they'd be a good match. I never met Nas, but Bruce is a solid dude.
Yeah, no, Nas is real laid back. I got to see him for like maybe 30 seconds at the Trumpet Awards last year.
Nice.
And he was hella cool.
Yeah, I've never heard one bad thing. I can't think of one scandal surrounding Nas, so that's, you know, or Bruce Willis.
So if they swap, what would be one thing different if they traded places?
I mean, maybe just like what you're saying, you know, they're just being exposed to a different thing. You know, one's an actor more than a rapper. He also did Belly and a bunch of other things. So, but I think, you know, just being exposed to these different things, like how Bruce wants to make music, you know, and Nas wants to act. So it's, I think, once you like start opening your mind, you realize, wait a minute, I could do other things.
You just fucked my head up. Can you imagine Belly with fucking Bruce Willis?
That would have been crazy.
Can you imagine Die Hard with Nas?
Yeah, that would be sick too. Both of those would be sick.
Fair enough. That's exactly why I do this shit. Because it makes you really think. It almost brain fucks you a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, no, that would actually be dope, or that won't work. That won't
No,
work.
that's a good match. They're cool.
Alright, you guys survived my trading places. I got my next segment. It's called Impulse Q&A. And the whole idea is I got some impulse questions. Give me some impulse answers. And we'll keep it going. Question number one. You can pass on the question if you don't like it.
Alright, no, I got
it's all good. Question number one. What's one thing you hate but you wish you loved?
I mean, I try to be super accepting of everybody, but just like anybody else, maybe I'll see somebody on the street, or maybe I'll have a bad interaction with somebody at the bank or some shit, and I won't give them the benefit of the doubt, or I'll be like upset about something that doesn't matter. So I hate that I do that kind of shit. And I wish that I just loved everybody and didn't trip on silly shit, or didn't ever give any type of prejudice based around anything, you know. I try not to feel that way, but I know that deep down inside, every so often I like see a lady at the bank or some shit, and I'm just like, oh, she's gonna take for, you know, I make some silly ass assumption that's maybe not true, and I hate that shit.
No, I feel you. Then I hate when your intuition's right. Like, damn it, that motherfucker took 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Question number 2. If you were a national landmark, what would you be?
The Bay Bridge, because like I'm a staple to California, and I'm a big part of like what's going on. But the Golden Gate Bridge is like the star. I'm the dude that holds everybody else down on the side, you know? And all the dudes from the East Bay that need to still make moves rely on your boy to make the plays with them.
I like how you just
I got my feet on both sides of it. I'm in the cool side of it with everybody, the Porsche dudes, and then I'm also in the streets with my folks.
That's right, that's right. No, it's nice to have a good balance because you can really make a difference because you get it, bruh. It's important that people that have those gifts get it. Question number 3. What is one thing you recommend everyone tries at least once?
Veganism. It's real easy, and it's something that you don't realize is how it affects your body and how easy it is to do. You know, maybe you say, oh, I don't like salad, or I don't want to eat salad every day. But once you realize that you can pretty much eat whatever you want, straight. Try it for a month and you'll see your body change, and you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna eat no cheese pizza again. It's just crazy.
Whew. Okay. Bro, you survived my awareness segment. You just really put me on to thinking about being a vegan. I've heard it say it's like puts 10 more years back on your life.
Bro, I could sit here and rattle off a ton of shit. It saves more than 10 years. So a normal person that consumes carcinogens usually dies from 60 to 80, and somebody who doesn't does 80 to 100. So it adds a significant amount to your life. It strips down the possibilities of getting cancer by 50%. So there's a lot of huge pros. Insane pros, you know, on top of the environmental waste and all that shit.
Damn.
But anyway, I'll put you on. Yeah, I'll put you on to some game before.
Man, you survived my trading places. Man, you knocked out my impulse Q&A like it was nothing. As a reward, let's promote. Let's have the viewers run up what you want them to view.
Yeah, check out the artist that I work with. His name's Swiper on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Music, any platform. Swiper, S-W-I-P-E-R. He's a great kid, and I produce all the beats and all the music. It's dope shit.
Yeah, that was the cat you played off air?
Yeah, I'll play some more shit.
Bro, he's tight. He hella dope.
Yeah.
Like, and I appreciate the evolution of. I'm Mexican, so you know, my grandfather swam across the border and fought in World War I, and that's how he met my grandmother. And so, but when I say this, like, I don't mean no disrespect, but the Mexican rap game has like really evolved to sound like a culture, and they're able to put their own oomph to it without it having to be in so right field or left field.
Me and my boy Rich Greedy just got #1 on the Latin iTunes charts, like with our album not too long ago, so like a month ago. So that shit is crazy.
Yeah, no, I love where the music is going. I love how reggaeton is killing the market right now, and it's a world market. And it's allowing so many people to evolve into it. Man, I want to give a big shout outs to High Seas Tattoo Parlor for having me and allowing us to do this interview.
Anytime, brother. I really appreciate you.
Man, if you notice my show, it's a little different. It's a little unique. You know, they got segments, so I got to have segments. I don't do segments like them. And I'm like, how do I keep that same energy? And the viewers knows it's coming. I'm going to hit you with it. You got any questions for me?
How long you been doing this for?
I started my podcast December 2019.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. And, you know, keeping it going. We're on season 4. I've had a lot of confirmations and milestones throughout, and it keeps on growing.
Fire. Yeah, I like doing it. It's fun, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate having you on. It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 4, episode 12. Man, big shout outs to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers.
you know, I wouldn't be able to do incredibly dope shit like interview Shon Lindauer and Ayo Shon and talk about all this good old music and tattoos and history and drop gems of knowledge throughout the process. Thank you, Shon, for coming on and just blessing us.
Of course, my guy.
Boom.
This is Shon Lindauer on Melrose at High Seas Tattoo Parlor in Hollywood, California. You're watching Contrast Uncut. Thank you, Uncle Snoop and Bobby D. Love y'all.
Hip-hop really taught me to give it all I got left. Wu-Tang taught us how to beat the projects and tell my story over beats and it could be a project. Look, how it all begun. Bum, skibbity bum. Yeah, grew up on that Nas, on that L, on that pun. Old soul when I was young. Crisscross, make them jump. Battle rapping for respect, my nigga. This ain't what you want. Can I kick it when I'm rhyming? Be a legend through Ebonics. Was a sticker boy. Felt like sticky.
Man, I know you guys can't smell this right now, and I ain't talking about none of that other stuff. I'm talking about some of that good stuff, that smell good stuff. I think it's breakfast. What time is it? It's breakfast time. Make sure you tune in to Contrast Uncut no matter what you're doing. Whether you're eating breakfast, you're smelling good food like I'm smelling, or if you're smelling other stuff, we're good to watch too. Make sure you tune in. Thank you.